This is such a badass moment where the smoke is just rising up in my face. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're returning to my channel, welcome back. Today we are covering air. Welcome to part 4 of my Water, Earth, Fire, Air series. And if you have not already watched the very first video where I break down all of them to give you a foundational and practical principle, I linked in the description below so that you can go to the very first video that I posted about this. This is going to provide you with the foundation. Otherwise, none of this is going to make sense. You'll be like, what the hell? What the hell are you talking about? And I don't want any confusion. And so part 2 and part 3 are also linked below. And so welcome to part 4. We're talking about air. So one of the things that people tend to think about is meditation, right? And of course, I use air for meditation where you breathe in and you breathe out. And of course, you're slowing down your breath, which immediately sends signals to your parasympathetic nervous system. That way you feel calmer instantly. So if you are someone who has anxiety, if you are someone who is very anxious, you are someone who is very much like, hey, I have a lot of stress building, or you've had a heart attack in the past, stroke, whatever. I'm not saying don't visit your doctor, go visit that person first. But what I can say is to maintain a calm nervous system, you need air. And what I will say is it's not just for meditation. It's not just for breath work. When you're outside and you get some fresh air, or moments where you maybe feel angry or you're frustrated and you roll down the car window and you're like, oh, I can finally freaking breathe. Or remember those movies where the guy would have a tie on and he would just pull it off like, oh, I can't freaking breathe in this tie, right? It's the same thing. We need air. So how do you use air to calm your nervous system? Well, when you're nervous or when you're afraid to do something new, I've always told people have tea with your fear. And I know that is something that is very foreign to us because we've been taught to either avoid our fear or just push past it or move past it. But really, your body begins to tighten up and you're like, oh my goodness, this new step is so scary for me. Like I'm expanding. Expansion is so normal. Fear is so freaking normal. And we have to start normalizing that in our day-to-day lives, that it's okay to be afraid and still make moves, right? So for example, I was afraid, of certain things, but I play a game called worst case scenario. So let's say, for example, worst case scenario, you're afraid of flying. This is one example of many. But since we're focused on air today, we'll focus on being up in the air. That is a very healthy fear. A lot of people are afraid to fly. I personally love flying. In fact, I love turbulence, which is real crazy. All my friends think I'm crazy for that. But it's like an adventure. It's like Six Flags in the sky for me personally, like a little roller coaster ride. But for many people, it's scary to be up in the air because there are unpredictable things and unforeseen things that can happen. So what do you do and how do you use your air to calm your nervous system down in times where there is chaos or times where you are stressed or times where you feel overwhelmed? So a few things can happen. Before you get on the plane, try this exercise. Let's play worst case scenario today. Worst case scenario, you get on a plane and your worst fear actually comes true. First, you need to ask yourself, number one, what am I actually afraid of? Am I afraid of flying or am I afraid of crashing? You might not be afraid to fly. You might love being in the air. You might enjoy seeing the sights as you look outside the window. You might even like recording it to post it to social media. But are you actually afraid to fly? So once you pinpoint what are you afraid of, you're then going to say, okay, no, I'm not afraid to fly. I'm afraid of what happens if we don't make it on the ground. So, okay, you're afraid of crashing. You're not afraid of flying. We've pinpointed the fear. Next, why am I afraid of crashing? Maybe you've seen a lot of images of planes crashing and not a lot of safe landings, or some chaos happening in the sky in every action movie that has Jason Statham in it, right? Well, in the reality of the situation is I would start looking up statistics of planes that actually crash. Just be logical for a minute. What are the number of chances that I could actually crash? Okay, whatever that number is, I didn't research it, but let's say it's 13% of planes that fly in the air will crash, like according to statistics over the years. Okay, so you have a 13% chance. That's not something you necessarily need to rationally be afraid of happening, but it is a concern and it's something that could happen. So let's play out the worst case scenario. Okay, this is where you take your power back. When I'm on the plane, and I'm going to get to the air part when you're on the plane, okay? But we're going to talk about before you get on the plane because you want to prepare yourself and your spirit for that. Okay, worst case scenario, the plane crashes. What will happen? Play it out. What are the different options that could happen? Well, you could just die. And guess what? You'll probably be completely unaware of what happened, which is fine. You died. And you move on with your life, right? You might go to this next level in life in the future. Maybe your body just is done. Your spirit is done. Maybe your soul rises. We don't know what happens after we die, right? But maybe there's an after party with God. We don't freaking know, right? Everybody thinks they know what's going to happen. The truth and reality is we don't know. Okay, number one, I die and I won't be aware of what's happening on this earth anyway. Number two, I recover. They get my body out. I'm in the hospital. I have to recover, which sucks, but I'm going to heal like I always do. I'm going to fight my way through this. And while I'm in the hospital, I find out I become a millionaire, right? Because now the plane company has to pay me money to shut me up, right? Because that's a lawsuit. And so they pay out all the people who have been damaged in the process for failing to land a plane. So either I become a millionaire, I die, and I'm not going to know what's going on anyway, or I become a millionaire. I mean, when we play out the scenarios, is it so bad? Is it so bad that your worst fear comes true? No, it's not. Because somehow you will make it through. Even if your arm gets broken, even if your legs, you're paralyzed down, from the bottom down, let's say that happens. It's an option. At least you have $1 million, you can figure it out, right? So don't be afraid of the fear. That's how you take your power back. When you sit and you have tea with fear and be like, well, why am I afraid? What am I really afraid of? Okay, now you get on the plane and now you're like, all right, well, I could become a millionaire, but it's all good. I would rather just land safely. And while you're on the plane, you're just going to begin to slow your breathing down, calm the breathing. One thing you can even do, especially on the chest area, you doing some tapping, like, I'm safe. I am safe. I'm on the plane. I am landing. I am safe, right? And I don't care who's next to you. Screw the people next to you, right? Who cares? If you need to do that, and in your head be like, I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm good. I'm taken care of. I'm fine. This goes for business. This goes for posting a piece of content. Remind yourself, I'm safe. I got this. I'm going to post this content. It doesn't matter how many likes it gets. It doesn't matter how many comments it gets. It could get 0 likes, but I'm proud of myself for showing up and posting and sharing what I was meant to share. And I'm going to keep on sharing until I completely feel safe. I am safe, right? And I want you to remember to return to your breath in times of stress, in times of anxiety, in times where maybe a car crashed in front of you. I saw that happen and it really startled me once. And I had to take a moment to just calm my nervous system. Return to the breath. Air is there for your advantage. So get out in the air as often as you can. If you can't go outside because of cold temperatures, or maybe you just couldn't go outside that day, still take a moment to just breathe. Every day I take a moment for breath work and to return to my breath, slow my breathing down, control my stress, control my hormones. So don't forget how much the power of air is actually on your side and how much you can actually use this element, not only spiritually in your spiritual practice, but physically when you are afraid, in times where your nervous system is out of whack and you feel like your heart is beating out of your chest. If you're nervous before you have to sing or do an announcement in front of people or speak in front of people on stage, no matter what it is, remember that air is there for you to help you return back to your breath, return back to who you are before you started overthinking and spiraling, and get back to that. So yeah, that is the element of air. And for those of you who are taking flights this year, I'm taking flights as well. And I want you to know it is not so bad. I promise you. All right. I'll see you in the next video. If you really love this series, definitely give me a like and a thumbs up. It supports the channel. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have more videos like this coming soon. And I'll see you in the next one.